This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen Marry Me, a newish romantic comedy from director Coiro. It follows the unusual crossing between two people from different sides of the tracks. Kat, an international pop star whose wedding concert is ruined when she learns her fiancé Bastien has been unfaithful, and Charlie, a divorced math teacher who she chooses on an impulse to marry that night instead. Media attention is frantic, of course, but Kat and Charlie do what they can to get along. From press tours to helping Charlie's daughter with school, to falling in love for real, and then the usual rom-com movie tropes. I mean, it was only inevitable. The story at play is nothing out of the ordinary. It's two strangers coming together through unordinary circumstances, finding common ground after some initial reluctance, falling in love and into conflict, then coming back together for a happy ending. Nothing else to it at all, really, so going into it blind is more like having your hands over your eyes but peeking between your fingers. There's very little, if anything at all, in this story that will truly surprise anybody, hitting pretty much every familiar story beat when it's supposed to happen, keeping any subplots or minor character arcs nice and simple, and avoiding any greater theming entirely to focus its energy on the romance and the chemistry between the two leads. There isn't much else to say, because it's not exactly trying to be anything more than a love story. It does bring down the viewing experience a bit, especially if you're entirely conscious of whatever will probably come next, but at the very least, the cast seems to be having fun with it all. Jennifer Lopez, who portrays Kat, and Owen Wilson, who plays Charlie, may seem comically mismatched, but not only do they pull off their roles pretty well, they do work together with enough believability and comfort that their relationship doesn't feel at all forced within any of this. Being the primary focus of the film, of course, it's definitely for the best that they don't eventually tire out the viewer. On that note, though, there's nothing in the film's production that is made to overwhelm the audience either, even despite the supposed celebrity life of Kat. Well, at the very least, what we get to see is more held back than what might be expected for somebody of her stature. Which is really just to say that they seem to have gone a bit cheap when trying to set up events that are supposed to be about a major music star. With relatively small crowds in relatively small venues, or keeping media or social media events less than hectic and with just as few people involved. Kat's own posse is pretty much the same group of 3 or 4 people. I will say that they are able to keep these instances to a minimum, and in one case they actually do have a large crowd at an actual concert venue. But this feels like a bit that they filmed at an actual concert and recontextualized for the movie. Anyways, since the main focus here is still very much on the actual events that are occurring, the film's technical style doesn't account for much in the end. It's all pretty much practical, outside of concert scenes, which, again, feel like they were shot by a completely different crew, likely because they were. And the rest of the film's general presentation is pretty much straightforward. It's all about romance and comedy, after all. There's plenty of both, and while it's not at all going to be for everybody, it'll at least sate you for almost 2 hours of your time, if you're in the mood. Marry Me, Kat Coiro, 2022. 3 stars. I wouldn't mind recommending it if you want an easy date night movie that doesn't require a lot of attention. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. been a while since I've watched a good old-fashioned average film. Everything has been pretty good or a total stinker the past week or two. They've also all been from this past year.